ICE is deporting people without due process who are not guilty of crimes.
Would you be okay with him running for a third term?
I have no problem with that at all.
Illegals that have not committed a crime and are law-abiding, I think they ought to be due process.
I want to hop into a few clips of the good liars at the Trump military dictator parade to peel back the curtains of MAGA's mindset and what they think of the horrendous actions the Trump administration has taken part in. So if you can, leave us a like. It's sure to get crazy. We definitely need it. And it lets us know you enjoy the content. And let's get right into the discussion.
Do you think that this parade is more about the military or Donald Trump's birthday?
Oh yeah, different from military because you know that
What does the sign say here?
It is about the military.
It's about the military, but the sign says "Happy Birthday, President Trump."
That's for him.
So we're here at the military parade, and the federal troops, the National Guard, has been called in within our borders.
And they should be. And they should be.
Does it feel like the right time for a big military parade, though, too?
Yes.
No issue with those two things happening at the same time?
Not at all. We can do many things at once, and when
We can shoot gun and walk at the same time.
It's wild to me because these are the people who genuinely consider themselves patriots, despite when faced with clear fascism, they cheer it on because it owns the libs or because they hate immigrants or trans people or whatever, when our country's history is that of fighting fascism, fighting the exact people who are the pillars of the MAGA movement, liberating the weak, something that Trump likes to crush instead. And if there's anything to be patriotic about, it's that, not Trump throwing a huge military parade, touting tanks and such around to celebrate his birthday so his cult members can celebrate him as the dictator they see him as. Oh, mind you, this costed taxpayers upwards of $45 million in one day. But tell us again how we can't afford food stamps or Medicaid or whatnot. I mean, a fiscally responsible party, by the way, guys.
Looking forward to 2028, Trump 2028.
You want to see Trump run again in 2028?
He'll win.
But would you be okay with him running for a third term,
I have no problem with that at all.
even if it's against the Constitution?
I don't believe it's against the Constitution. I believe there's other routes there.
And what would those routes be?
I don't know. I'm not a constitutional lawyer.
But if it was against the Constitution, which it is, would you still be in favor of it?
I'm not in favor of breaking laws, no.
So no Trump 2028.
Trump 2028.
Again, just interesting to step into the mind of MAGA, the people who fly flags and consider themselves the patriotic group, despite despising literally every foundation that America stands for. They don't value the Constitution. They don't value the rule of law, democracy, co-equal branches of government, the judicial system at all. If Trump came out tomorrow and said that America should be a monarchy, all of these people would cheer it on. Every single one of them would be pointing out, they'd be chat GPTing the benefits of a monarchy and be like, well, actually, it helps because of this and this inconsistency of who's in charge, And something I think of often that is frightening and shocking, and God forbid it ever happens, of course. But I believe that MAGA is so lost that if Trump went on TV, Jonestown style, not obviously Jonestown didn't go on TV, but went on TV with a Jonestown style, Americans should drink the Kool-Aid, telling his followers to do so, millions of people would literally do it. That's the level of brainwash that we are in America.
I'm not for deporting all illegals. I'm for due process if you're not committing a crime.
So you're against what's happening right now, then?
I didn't say that.
Well, the ICE is deporting people without due process who are not guilty of crimes.
I think the ones that haven't, the illegals that have not committed a crime and are law-abiding, I think they ought to be due process.
So you're against what's happening right now, then?
I'm not against deporting anybody that's committed a crime.
Right, but the people who have not committed a crime, which are many of the people being deported, you said you're against that. So you're against what's happening right now.
I think they ought to be vetted and screened.
And even though they're not and they're deported, that's what's happening right now. So you are against that.
I think, again, and that's all I'm going to say, is the ones that haven't committed a crime.
I mean, look at this. They're hardwired to be unable to say Trump bad. There's always some cop-out. He's either taken out of context, or it's fake news media, or it's a scandal against him that everyone's in on, or, oh, well, I've never heard of that, or he'll fix it, or whatever it is, to never have to say, yeah, Trump bad, right? Also, easy flaw in the logic here, right? How do we know a migrant has committed a crime, or how do we even know that they're undocumented without due process? If we don't trust the government, government, guys. It's the government, these big, scary, faceless bureaucrats we can't trust. Why are we trusting them with this? It literally makes no sense. And for MAGA, it typically falls down to just whatever argument they think just gives them the most credence in the moment, rather than any true principled stance or logic. And this is what's getting really frustrated about politics, is it used to be about principled stances combating each other and seeing who had the most consistent logic. But now it's just MAGA literally saying whatever they think gives them the win in that moment. For instance, they will vehemently state, well, it's only because we respect the rule of law that we deport migrants who cross the border without proper documentation because it's illegal, despite it being a civil infraction, right? A crime less serious than a speeding ticket. Legitimately, look it up, right? Yet they think that warrants deportation to foreign gulags. Meanwhile, they'll simultaneously happily vote for a 34-count convicted felon who was held civilly liable 9-0 for sexual assault. Like, they think that he should be the most powerful man in the world despite felonies and rape. It's hypocritical on its face. And then even further into the hypocrisy, they'll often deny the veracity of the sexual assault because it was in civil court. Yet again, the civil infraction of crossing the border undocumented is warrant enough for deportation. None of it makes sense. None of these people have thought of any of these points. They heard Trump say it, or Fox News say it, or their favorite commentator on YouTube or X say it, and now they're parroting it around. It's the most annoying and frustrating thing, and none of it holds any weight if you can critically think to the ability that my 6-year-old can right now.